Picking up where we left off with scatter plots. In the last assignment, you had to create the scatter plot and draw a line of best fit. This assignment, we're going to write the equation for the line of best fit. So I drew all the lines so we'd be working with the same information. And I also identified two ordered pairs on each line. As you can see, 50, 125 is one of the points I'm going to use. Even though it's not a point that appears on the line, it is still a point on the line. And 80, 175. So again, it does not have to be a point that was already there. The key is it is on the line. But in order to write the equation, I need the slope and I need a y-intercept. Now the y-intercept, where it's going to look. Where does the line intersect the y-axis? Well, it appears to me about 75. So that's all you're really going to do is just take that number off the graph just by looking at it. Now for the slope, we will use the slope formula. And there it is right here, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have 2 points. We label them x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 goes here, according to the formula. And I identified 175 as y2. y1 is 125. So the y coordinates go up here in backwards order. And the x coordinates go in the denominator, again in reverse order. So if I subtract, I have 50 over 30. And I'm going to divide that. You can use that if you wanted to, but I'm going to just divide and call and round it off. It's about 1.6 repeating, so I'll call it 1.67. That, everyone, is my slope. Well, if I have my slope and I have my y-intercept, I can write the equation. And if you recall, y equals mx plus b. M, the slope, goes in for m. B, the y-intercept, goes in for b. So in our example, y equals 1.67x plus 75. That's the equation for that line of best fit. And you can see what this data is about. The movie budget costs a lot of money to make movies. And this is box office gross. That's how much money it brings in the movie theaters. Okay, so what association do you observe? Well, as x goes up, y goes up. And this is also from the last assignment. That is a positive correlation. Now, one step further. We're going to make predictions based on using our line and using our equation. Let me zoom out a little bit here. It's a little crowded looking there. So based on your line of best fit, I'm reading question F here. What would be the box office gross of a movie with an $80 million budget? So you go over to 80. 80 represents 80 million. You just kind of take your eyes up until you hit the line of best fit, go over. And this y value right here, now there's nothing written there, but let's see, it's in between a 150 and 200. So I would call that 175. And again, that's in millions, $175 million. So that was a prediction we made using our line of best fit. Now notice, using your equation, what would be the box office gross of a movie with a $140 million budget? See, the graph stops at 120. So what I'll do is I'll bring my equation down, 1.67x plus 75, and I'm going to replace x with 140. So here's how I show the work. 1.67 times 140 plus 75. I basically just wrote the equation, but I took out x and put in 140. So you calculate this, and multiply, and then add 75, and I got, and then you might have to round it off. I did not mean to make that decimal yet. That's a 308, now comes the decimal, $0.8 million. So with a budget of 140 million, they could expect to gross about 308 million. You will have to do that on the assignment. Okay, so I have one more example. We don't have to make any predictions, but we should practice finding slope and identifying the y-intercept. So the y-intercept you can see is right here. I would call that about 1.5. And now as far as slope, again, I will always provide 2 points. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, that is 5.5 divided by 5. Well, a lot of 5s here. And that's going to give me 1.1. That's my slope. That's my y-intercept. So when I write my equation, I can move that up a little. Y equals 1.1x, see slope goes in front of x, plus 1.5. So let me show you the assignment. Zoom out here. So on the front you have 4 graphs. Notice I identified 2 ordered pairs on the line for all of these. So use them to find slope. So I've got you all set up to find slope. Identify the y-intercept, just look at it. You have to estimate a little bit. And where do you think that intersects the y-axis? Just give your best answer for the y-intercept. Find slope, write the equation. And, yes, there's more. On the back, you'll have to use your line of best fit to make a prediction. And then you have to use your equation and show the work like I did right here. You just show you put the number in your equation and got an answer. If you have any questions, let me know.